Marty Barrett, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Heavenly Father, thank you for the day. Thank you brought us forth to do the county business here. I pray that you'll lead us and guide us, that we'll do nothing against you, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Yeah. Stand with me for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call this Marshall County Fiscal Court meeting to order, February 7th, 2023. First guest is Mr. Tim York.
I guess this is my last official act, because the statute says that I have to be here and present a settlement to you guys, even though I've been retired for
Wow. Do you get a day's pay?
No, I don't
No.
really get anything. I just
Maybe you should take him out to lunch or
just
something?
the well wishes of the court, I
Yeah.
guess, is all I get.
Well, you've done a fabulous job.
Well, I hear you're bringing good news, so
I
that's
sent all you guys a copy of the settlement, and I didn't hear back, so I assume that means that everything was fine. But basically, in 2022, we took in $13,551,593.54, which was about $1 million more than we took in 2021. So we had a good year with motor vehicles, and our disbursements were $13,475,487.87, and that left us with excess fees of $76,105.67. And Erica's already got that check in the bank, so y'all are drawing interest on it as we speak. The one thing that we probably didn't talk about, if you see under disbursements, we started, I guess, in July of 2022, giving the county treasurer our document storage money, and the fiscal court's holding that basically in trust for the county clerk's office, so the county clerk can use that. So it allows us to kind of roll over some money so that we don't start at zero every year, so that we've got some money. And if we have a big project, then maybe we can roll it over for 3 or 4 years. Or if we have a bad year, then maybe we can use that money to subsidize, our operation in that year. But other than that, everything was pretty much the same. But I will need a motion accepting my settlement, I guess, subject to audit. And I did talk to the state auditor this morning. They're here doing the motor vehicle audit part, and they'll come back later and do the rest of it.
I move we accept it, subject to audit.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Tim, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Tim.
again for a job well done.
Appreciate
We
it.
miss you.
Chrissy will have you lunch.
Next up, Chrissy Greer.
Well, unfortunately, I'm here to spend the money he just turned in. I'm looking to get approval to order 40 e-poll book units to conduct our elections, and each unit is $1,700 apiece, totaling $68,000. The good thing about this is it is going to be 100% reimbursed by the DLG, and hopefully in a timely manner. But there are going to be some cost, in the next three to 4 years. We're going to have to pay maintenance fees and software fees and wireless activation fees and different things that, they don't really tell you all that, but that's just really part of it. We don't really have a choice on it. But
And we'll be looking for the state to reimburse us for
well,
those.
hopefully they'll come up with some money for
Right,
some of that
Chrissy?
stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I hope they do.
This
There'll be
is
people
We'll let the
asking
county
for it.
clerks association fight for us to get
Right.
that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing, I'll just go ahead and bring this up. We're going to change things around a bit. Starting this year, we're going to go to vote centers instead of the 18 voting locations, 25 precincts, but 18 voting locations. But this will be 7 vote centers. We're going to use the schools. We'll be spread out to where everybody has, it's not going to be a long drive to vote or whatever. But that's just what everybody is pretty much going to.
And with these poll books, Chrissy, correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, you can go vote anywhere you want.
You can
once
go
those
vote anywhere you
in
want
effect.
with the vote centers.
Yes,
And so if you show up and you're in the wrong place, you're not going to be turned away and have to
Right.
drive to some other place.
right.
You know, and if you work in Calvert, 12 hours, and you want to stop at Calvert Elementary and vote, you can. So I think it's a great thing.
Yep.
It's going to take some getting used to, and you're going to have some like it and some that don't.
Yep.
But
And these were mandated. It's not something you woke up
Oh,
and
no, no,
decided
no.
you wanted to do.
Oh,
So
yes.
they are mandated. We got to hear all about it at the conference we were at
yeah,
last week.
and everybody
so,
all the counties that do it, just absolutely, they love it.
yeah.
So does that start in the May primary? Okay.
Yeah.
So about when will you get the information out as far
Well,
as those locations?
We were
and
talking about that.
dates.
We think we will probably have to send a postcard out to every registered voter. And I'm trying to get some prices on what that's going to cost because I think we're going to have to do it. But I mean, we'll start as soon as possible trying to get it out on social media and stuff.
Still going to be the 3-day, 3 days
Early
of voting,
We're
early
going to have the
voting?
early voting at Joe Creason.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, we'll have in person.
So those voting centers are only the day of?
Only the
Those-
day of.
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember how Tim did it during COVID. I mean, there'll be one at the high school. You know, there's going to be 7 locations. And we're going to put one out at the South Marshall Fire Department because I feel like that is a harder to reach area. You know, it may not get used that much, but we'll see. But I mean, I think it's the way of the future. I hope
Okay.
that
great.
you all agree. Uh-huh.
Just for the record, Chrissy, on the, because you mentioned the 68,000, was that the number?
Yes.
The state went through the procurement on that, so that we don't have to bid that.
No. No.
Do I have a motion for her to purchase the
So moved.
poll books? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christian.
Next up, Mr. Billy Pitts with Marshall County Health Department.
First of all, thank you for having me here, and then secondly, I'll apologize for the sound of my voice. This hits me about this time every year, and I just have to deal with it for a few days. Not as bad off as I sound. Did a update for the health department. I do it every January for the first Board of Health meeting that we have, and I do the same thing pretty much every year. I kind of give a recap of the things that we did, accomplishments and challenges in 2022, and then lay out some of the plans that we have for 2023. And so, I'm going to do a very much abridged version, Judge Braggs, of what I gave the other night. I gave everyone on the panel there a copy of this document. It's front and back, 2022 and reviews on the front, and the 2023 plans are on the back. And as I said, this is the abridged version. Challenges of the past year. I'd actually addressed this to my staff when I put this out. And, some of the staff, we had some, family members that suffered some personal losses, things like that. But we have a great staff. They persevered through those things, have done a great job. COVID still lives on. We have some talk about the XB 1.1.5 variant that's out there, and forgive me if I didn't say that correctly. But here in Marshall County, we had just a little touch of it, and then it just kind of went away. And in fact, our cases, even though these new variants out there, our cases continue to decrease month after month. So we're doing really well in that respect. We suffered, of course, the tornado of 2021 in December, and we had the carryover effects of that. Weather closures, monkeypox, the floods in eastern Kentucky. We went to electronic medical records. I put that under the challenges, but that's also some of our accomplishments as well. We actually had catalytic converters stolen out of our vehicles this past May. The Sheriff's Department didn't do a doggone thing to help us out with that.
They never have.
Any past and present here,
Yeah, they never do.
I don't know. And those folks, I'm going to tell you, they're like ninjas. We looked at video camera footage
Amazing.
for 72 hours straight and never even saw a blurb on the screen with the camera shining right on the vehicles there. So how they do that, it's pretty amazing. We had issues, that we dealt with, and I'll call them challenges, with the compensating tax rate. We had challenging TB cases. We had formula shortages. So there's just a few of the things that, the health department as a whole, and not just here, but across the state, what we dealt with. We did some in-house renovations with how we run business. We actually have Dr. Hall. I don't know if folks are familiar with her, but one of our local physicians. She actually has come on board not just as a medical advisor and medical director, but she is now hands-on seeing ladies in our what we call our one-stop clinic. She does that twice a month on Wednesdays, doing a fantastic job for us there. We've got a whole new model for our hands program. I'm excited about that. That's a program, and I can't get into too much detail, but it's a program where we have staff that will go and help and counsel with and work with and educate and new mothers and fathers with children that are 90 days old and less. Plus, they're also very much resource to those folks, and we've got a new model for that, and I'm excited about what we're going to be doing in Marshall County. We've had the regional EPI and the regional breastfeeding coordinator move from other parts of the state here to our house. They wanted to be a part of Marshall County. We've made that happen. We've completely revised the classification and compensation system for all of the structure and pay. We've got a new community health worker program that's an innovative, it's a brand new approach to some different things that we're doing here in the county. And then we've also brought on two new health educators under our community health program specialist setup. And I'm going to go back for just a second. I want to touch on this community health worker because I think Judge Spraggs, you asked me to open up on that just a little bit. This is something new. It's not in every health department across the state. We had a grant opportunity that came about last year that if we wanted to, we could apply for this grant, and if we were approved for it, we could bring in a community health worker. And this person does a vast array of jobs. And in fact, we're still taking the general description of what this person does, and we're expanding on that, and we're developing it as we go. But this person serves as a resource for Marshall County for a number of things. This person's going to help us with our data collection for our community health assessments. This person is going to help collaborate with our community health partners for our health coalition. This person's also a resource for pretty much any individual that would call up to the health department that might need help in an area that's not already addressed in another venue within the health department. We've got 8 departments altogether within the health department. If somebody has something, with health education or with, environmental or things like that, we could refer them right there in-house. But if they have questions, and trust me, people call the health department for a number of things, just anything that you name, they'll call it to the health department and they want to know what they can do about this or what kind of help they can receive. Well, this person now is a link to all the different resources that are available in the community. So instead of saying, well, you have to call someone else, that person will take that call and will direct them and help them. It's very much a personal touch. I mean, it could be just anything. If it's within her power, she is going to direct that person and give them, the resources they need or put them in that right area. And if it's something that comes up, maybe she gets a phone call and it's something she's not familiar with it, well, she's going to be familiar with it by the end of the day or maybe the end of the week. She's going to figure some things out. And so it's still, like as I said, it's a learning, growing job there. And the person that we have in that program has come on and it has, surprising to me, has become one of my star staff members. And by that, I mean, she is phenomenal. Her name is Danielle Prather. I don't mind mentioning her by name. And she's phenomenal. And she's one of these type employees that when you get them in your employee, you do not let them go. So I've made it clear to the board, I make it clear to the fiscal court that, we approve for the grant. They're paying for her salary and fringe and all that this year. They're going to pay for it again next year. But year after that, if they were to stop it, we're going to pick it up and we're going to pay for it because it's a valuable program and this person is a star employee. So I do plan on keeping them on board, for the long run. Accomplishments this year, we had just a number of things. We've got our strategic plan that's in place. We covered 3 major priorities under that. We did innovative work, and I use that word innovative. We did innovative work with the CHAR and the CHIP this year. It's something that I haven't seen any other health department across the state do with the way we gathered documentation, primary data, secondary data, and put together this community health assessment and community health improvement plan. Fantastic work. We've reached out to our vulnerable communities, with different community forums and visioning sessions. We've put an increased focus on health equity this past year. I mentioned that electronic medical records was a challenge, but at the same time, it's also one of our accomplishments. So that's one of those that fits in both areas. We had public health funding approved for public health at the legislature for 2023 and 2024, which gave us an increase across the entire state of about $17 million for FY23 and about $19 million for FY24. We have at the Health Department a structured Murray State University internship program. I'm extremely proud of that. We conducted after-hours clinics for immunizations. We even, at the Tater Days this past year, we put up an 18-foot trailer that we set up for breastfeeding and baby changing. And I thought that was, myself, I thought it was a fabulous hit. I did not come up with that idea. I was at the Pioneer Days in Southern Illinois for their event there 1 year, 2 or 3 years ago, actually before COVID, and they had one set up. I thought it was fantastic, so I completely stole that idea and brought it here to Marshall County, and we had to wait till the pandemic kind of tapered off before we finally put that into place. I'm hoping this year we do it again. If you guys will have us, we'll put it out again this year for Tater Days and make that available, hopefully in a nice prominent location where people can see that and use that resource. And then every audit that we have for the Marshall County Health Department this year, every audit for hands, finance, WIC, clinic, every audit was excellent in every way. So before I talk about just some of the planning for 2023, which I'll try to be as brief as I can, do you guys have any questions on any of the challenges or accomplishments or the changes that we had at the Health Department in 2022? Well, when I hear silence like that, I'm going to assume I'm doing a fantastic job of communicating everything I need to communicate. Either that or you want to get me out of here, so I'll take either one. For 2023, we are focusing on our strategic plan initiatives, which I listed those here: community engagement, employee engagement, and public health transformation. That plan we implemented in 2021, and it's going to carry on through 2025, and it is a living, growing document, a plan. So everything we do, everything that comes about, in any external events, any internal events, whatever happens in our community, we document it in our strategic planning document. This thing might be a novel by the time we're done at the end of 2025, but that's fine. It's helping to keep us engaged in what the community needs and what the health department needs. I talked about the community health worker program. I'm going to touch on something specific about that. This will be the third time I've mentioned it. Just to give you an idea how proud I am of this. This particular employee saw an opportunity, a national opportunity to become a part of the Reaching Rural incentive, which came from the federal level, and they selected 67 people to be a part of this initiative across the United States. And it was a very competitive application process. And our person, Miss Danielle, she completed the application. And one of the things that we always do with this is they'll send it by my desk first. And, for any type of application like that, and I'll review it before we send it out. And I always have my red pen out, and I'll sit there and I'll just mark it up, and I'll use half a pen on just about any document that comes across my desk. Well, I read through her entire multi-page application, and I had to just set my pen down because there wasn't one thing that I needed to correct. And then on top of that, she was one of the ones selected of the 67 people across the United States. So we've got a representative for the state of Kentucky right here in Marshall County for this Reaching Rural initiative. And it focuses on the opioid epidemic and the impacts of that on the people that are victims of opioid, for those that use it, and for those that are maybe family members and those that have the secondary effects, the secondary impacts. That's what this is about. And it's a growing program as well. It's something that's brand new. And we've got a person in-house that's going to take that to new levels. We're also going to focus this year a little more on harm reduction, okay? And when I talk about harm reduction, I just want to remind the panel here, the fiscal court, that as a health department, we are required to do, and when I use the word required, we are required to do certain things. The 5 essential public health services, which, community engagement, all the environmental, the things that we are, mandated to do. We are also required to do core public services, which includes WIC, HANDS, and harm reduction. Now, everything is pretty much funded in the foundational. The WIC program is funded. The HANDS program is funded and very self-sufficient. In fact, we even make a little money off of that program with the way it works, with the funding that comes in and the service fees. But the harm reduction program is completely unfunded. So we have, in essence, and not just for Marshall County Health Department, but across the state, an unfunded mandate. You will do this, and you have no funds for it. Now, I'm working on securing funds for the harm reduction. I'm looking at some different angles. I'm looking to make a partnership with UK. They've got some funds available. AmeriCorps out there, they have some funds available. So I'm looking for different ways to bring in funds to help fund the program. But either way, win, lose, or draw with those funding opportunities, we are going to press forward with harm reduction. It's the one area, when I talk about Marshall County Health Department, I will say this, it is the best health department in the state. I make no qualms about that. And I'll say it to all my brothers and sisters that are health directors at the other 60 health departments across the state. I'll stand in front of them and say it. They probably don't like it as much as I do, but we are. We are the best health department in the state. And when I talk about the harm reduction program, though, it is the one area where we haven't been able to get the traction that we need, and we're going to change that this year. We're going to start with education. We're going to get out there and we're going to educate people on the stigma that surrounds, folks that use drugs and illicit substances and, how they're viewed. And what we want to do is we want to create an image that, hey, these are, these are folks that use drugs, but they're people. They are people just like you and just like me, and they have wants and dreams and ambitions. And I don't know of anybody that wakes up on any given day, and pardon me if I get a little passionate about this, but I am. But I don't know of anybody that gets up on any given day and says, oh my gosh, I just want to be a drug user. That's what I want to do. And sometimes things just happen in life that lead people to where they are, and we don't know all the answers. We don't know what's happening in their world. So I've been reading up on this, I've been studying on it, I've been digging into it, I've been going to webinars and seminars, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, what can we do to help out our people in Marshall County? And one of the biggest things is we just need to kind of come across come up with a cultural change in our view of these folks, and look at them, they're people, and they're people that need help. Now, not everybody's going to want help. I fully understand that. But at the Marshall County Health Department, through our harm reduction program, I want us to create an environment where folks can feel free of judgment and to come in and take advantage of whatever we may need to provide. It might be Hep C testing, it might be HIV testing, we might be distributing the naloxone, and I say might, yes. I'm going to change that word from might to we will be. We will be doing Hep C testing. We will be doing HIV testing. We will be, testing for fentanyl. We will be, distributing naloxone. And I'm going to break it out right now. At some point during this year, I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk to the fiscal court about a syringe exchange program. And so, these are things that I want to prep you for. I mentioned a moment ago, it is a mandated program, and we're going to make it happen. And we're going to make it work. We're going to shine in this respect. And then I'll kind of just briefly run through. We're going to keep focusing on our HANDS program, the community health assessment, community health improvement plan that we have. These are things that we did that are not just documents, but these are things that we're going to put into action. And we're going to actually actively work and address the issues that we identified in our community health assessment. Again, I want to do the baby changing station, and I want to wrap up with talking about model practices. We have different public health I guess I'll call them agencies and groups and whatever you want to call them out there. There's NACHO, the National Association of City and Council Health Officials. There's APHA, the American Public Health Association. There's the National Public Health Institute. We've got right here in Kentucky, the Kentucky Public Health Association, the Kentucky Health Directors Association. And I mention all those to say that there's a lot of entities out there focusing on public health, and they provide opportunities for people to share what they do. What are you doing at your health department, your agency that's innovative, that's groundbreaking, that's going to make a difference? And we've put out model practice applications to all of these places. Every one of them we've put out there for the things that we do. In fact, in particular, talking about our forums and our visioning sessions, and then to talk about what we did for the community health assessment. It was innovative. It was innovative. It was creative. It wasn't perfect. Nothing's perfect. I don't mean to say that, but it is a fantastic process and a fantastic document, and we want to share it. We want to share it with everybody. I repeat, Marshall County Health Department is the best health department in the state, but by God, I'll do everything in my power to help another health department do the same thing. And my brothers and sisters all across the state, I'll give them everything we have. When we were going through the process, I want to tell this quick story. We were going through the process. There were 15 other health departments that were accredited in the state, and so we're getting ready to submit, and I'm reaching out to the health directors across the state, and I don't mean to knock anyone, I don't, but I'm like, hey, what did you guys do for this, and what did you do for that, and what kind of documentation, what examples did you use, what kind of policies did you have, what kind of programs? And I'm going to tell you, you could hear the crickets chirping. Nobody responded with anything. And I thought, my goodness, I don't get it. You know, we've got 15 out here that have already blazed this path, but they're not sharing a thing, nothing. But I'm going to tell you, when my brothers and sisters out there at the other health departments, and they started asking me, because we were the 17th health department in the state of Kentucky to achieve accreditation in 2021. And I mean that period. I don't mean just in 2021. We were the 17th health department period in the state of Kentucky to achieve accreditation, and the 269th health department in the United States to achieve that status out of 2,700 health departments. So when my brothers and sisters, they asked me, well, hey, what'd you do for this? What'd you do for that? I said, hey, this is what we did, and I'm going to give you a copy of it. And you can take and mark, you know, take a Sharpie and mark off our name and write your name on it. Doesn't matter to me, but here's what we did. And you can use it, you can copy it, you can, whatever you want to do. But I want, you know, it helps spur ideas for this entire state to become better. Because in public health, I'm going to tell you, yeah, we rank, you know, this health department right now, we rank number, 25 or so in rankings across the 120 counties in the state of Kentucky. But Kentucky itself ranks like 46. And we need to do better. And so we can't do that, though, if we're all divided. We have to come together and work with each other. So now that I've been on my soapbox about all that and our 2023 plans, do you guys have any comments or questions for me?
Well, I appreciate the the Rural Fellows Project. It's the first I've heard of it, but obviously with the opioid settlement money that is coming down, and I know I've been to a meeting about that, and I asked anyway that night for those folks to come down individually to us as fiscal courts, or at least meet with us, have all the fiscal courts get together to say, okay, here's some different avenues to be able to spend this money, because it's a huge issue. I don't think that it's getting more attention now with fentanyl, it seems like.
Right.
But, I mean, it's a huge danger to our future.
Monty, I'm smiling because I'm so happy that you brought up the two things. One, talking about the settlement money. I read the CAECO report. I know, according to CAECO, exactly what was sent to Marshall County in December, what's to come here for 2023 and 2024 and on for the next, I think it's like 14 years, this money, $1.3 million is going to be, spread out. I don't think that Judge Spraggs has had the opportunity to look at it just yet, but I think late last night, before I left the office, I sent a proposal to you and to ask the fiscal court for some of that money to help with harm reduction. Okay, I'm not greedy. I'll just take everything you have. So you ship that our way, and we'll put it to good use. But I think this is actually a great opportunity, and just so you know, of the approved uses for the opioid settlement money, harm reduction is right there in the documents from CAECO, and it's also listed very specifically in the documents from the Attorney General. Section 2, item H or I or something like that. I've got a copy of it at the office, but it talks about harm reduction, which is exactly the program that I'm talking about right now, and what I presented to you that we're going to focus on in 2023. And like I said, I'll be asking for the money. I will come back up here and I'll have a one-on-one meeting, or I'll meet with everybody and I'll present to you and I'll show you everything that we're willing to do to get some of that, to have some of that money to help us with this unfunded mandate. So thank you for opening that door.
You're well, and I did not get that email, so I didn't even know. So.
All right, you guys have anything else for me?
We don't hear much about your retirement in the last few years, so I assume if we
My
don't.
retirement?
No, well, not your retirement, but I'm saying the retirement woes of health departments from across the country, so, or across the state, so.
The pension crisis.
Yeah, the pension.
Everyone retiring. The Kentucky Public Pension Authority, they drew the line in the sand actually July 30th of 2019, and they decided that, hey, that's the
Cap.
We're gonna box that up right there. They drew that line and they boxed it all up. Came up with what they call the I'm gonna lose my words on this. Jason's probably better than I am to remember it, but the unfunded liability. Does that sound about right? So they came up with our unfunded liability, and they said Marshall County Health Department owes about $17 million to this fund, and then they said you're gonna have to pay it back at a tune of about $1 million a year for the next 30 years. So you do your math on that, that sounds like a pretty high interest rate to me. But this is one of those things where I don't get a choice in it, I don't have a say. Nobody said, hey, Billy Pitts, what's your view on this? They just did it and pushed it down. But then the legislature has also stepped in and they give us a subsidy to help pay for that, in addition to a subsidy that we receive from the state. So KDPH, and when I say state, I'm always talking about the Kentucky Public Health Department. So we get subsidy from them, we get subsidy from the legislature, and so those two things combined, actually, we're out of pocket about, I don't know, anywhere about $250,000 a year to help pay on that. So I don't talk about it much anymore because it's done, it's got a seal on it, and it's part of our world. Like it or not, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's not the worst thing in the world. All right, anybody have any
else?
questions or comments except Monty?
Probably not.
Is there?
Wow, how many times have we heard that?
I do. It's on the trailer you put Tater Day. Was there quite a bit of use last year? Is there any way of
We didn't count, folks.
a lot of dirty diapers in the trash can, or
A lot of what now?
a lot of dirty diapers in the trash cans inside? Were they used or not?
It was used.
Yeah.
To see how many came through. You know, I worked it myself. When I say worked it, we had a little canopy set up right next door. Where
Yeah.
we had brochures and things like that, and we were doing our community assessment at the same time.
Yeah.
And, but we, you know, when somebody come in, we'd step in and make sure it was, cleaned
Clean.
up. We actually supplied the diapers and the wipes and things like that. So it was utilized, but it was not utilized to the extent I would have liked to have seen it utilized. And I think because it was just brand new.
Yeah.
And Mayor Dotson really, she didn't really know what to expect of it, and I can't remember that young man that was in charge of kind of putting it together for us, the Tater Days thing. And so we were set up kind of in a secluded area off to the back. So I'm gonna, I'll go through the fiscal court. I don't know how Tater Days work. I don't know who's in charge of it and how it works.
Not us.
Not you? All right.
Go to the city.
Well, I'll go to Rita and I'll talk to her about it, just to be able to get on a little more of a prominent area, maybe on one of the main strips, to where it can be utilized.
Sure. Anybody else?
Not a chance.
You don't have diapers?
Thank you so much for
Nope.
coming
No.
out. We appreciate you as always.
All right, Judge Bryce, thank you, and thank you to the court.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
You too.
Okay, next up, we have Miss Elizabeth Griffith Mudd. She is our Economic Development Director for Marshall County, a native of Owensboro. She's former Director of Existing Industry and Workforce Development at the Greater Owensboro Economic Development Corporation. She's a graduate of Kentucky Wesleyan College, where she obtained her degree in communications, and Western Kentucky University, where she completed her master's in public administration. Elizabeth recently graduated from the University of Oklahoma Economic Development Institute, which is a premier organization dedicated to training economic development professionals and is fully accredited by the International Economic Development Council. Prior to her time at GOEDC, she served as Executive Director for the Wendell H. Ford Government Education Center in Owensboro. She's an active member of the Junior League of Owensboro, Impact 100 Owensboro, the Women's Guild of Owensboro, the Chamber of Young Professionals. She's a board member of Impact 100 Owensboro, the KET Friends Board, the Western Kentucky Botanical Garden, and was appointed by Governor Matt Bevin in 2016 to the Board of Directors for the Kentucky Arts Council. Elizabeth was named Greater Owensboro Chamber of Commerce 40, Under 40 honoree in 2017, and is a 2019 graduate of Leadership Owensboro and a 2021 graduate of Elevate Kentucky. She is married to Taylor Mudd, Assistant Athletic Director of Development for Murray State University.
Go Racers.
I would also like to add, she hit the ground running. She was in my office on a Friday with the state director, and the following Thursday had the announcement for Precision Sonar's $2.2 million expansion. So I'm very excited with what I've seen so far, and I think we have great things ahead. Elizabeth, you want to say a few words?
Absolutely. Well, good Morning, everyone.
Morning.
It's
Morning.
nice to meet those of you I haven't met. Commissioner Barrett and Commissioner McGuire. I've been able to sit down with you all, but I have with Commissioner Collins and the judge. And very excited to be here and everything you all have going on, all the wonderful assets you have in regard to economic development. You're allowing me to have a lot of good things to work with, which makes my job easier. So hit the ground running, been on a listening tour the past couple weeks, just getting around to meet everybody and getting a feel for everything. But we have a lot of good things going on, a good project pipeline. I have several good meetings later, so moving right along. Exciting things to come for Marshall County, and I look forward to working with you all and continuing to see the community grow. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Miss Brittany Hargrove, Parks Director.
Do you have an intro? for
Yeah, do you
her?
have an intro?
Brittany Hargrove
Theme music
from,
or something?
Yeah, think maybe need
from the Draffinville area,
need some
granddaughter of Gordon Hargrove.
There you go. That just needs to be on a shirt or
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Gordon's granddaughter. That
Yes.
could totally be a shirt.
Yep.
So I'm here today due to the grounds policy that we have. I need to present anything that anyone wants to place on county property. So instead of me trying to explain this, I just want to read you guys the letter that I received because I feel like she says it better than I could have. We are Bethany and Evan Lyles. I have grown up here and lived in Marshall County my entire life. We currently live right here in Draffinville, and I'm a third grade teacher at Central Elementary. We have 3 beautiful boys, Mac, Wes, and Lee. Unfortunately, our precious Lee went to be with the Lord on April 5th, 2022 at just 5 weeks old. During this difficult time, we have asked God to use our pain as a lifeline to help others grieving. We have discussed different ways to honor Lee's little life, but in a way to benefit other children and families in our community. One thing our family loves to do together is read books. This is something we never got to do with our precious baby boy. This is when we got the idea for Lee's little library. We would like to propose the idea of putting a miniature library near the play area at Mike Miller Park. We would build it, install it, and make sure it stays locked. Children could read a book with their family while playing at the park. They could take the book, put it back, or replace it with another book. We would check the little library from time to time to make sure it is stocked with children's books. I would stock it with books that children in our school and family love. She's attached a couple of pictures here. I can pass this around if you all want to see. And then she just said, thank you for taking the time to read this. God bless you. Bethany, Evan, Mac, and Wes Lyles. So this basically looks like one of the blessings boxes that you would see that sometimes has canned goods or things like that in them. They will completely cover the cost of building this structure, placing it near the library there, and stocking it with children's books to have there. I think it's a fantastic idea. I love that they are willing to take something painful that they went to and find a way to give back to their community through that. So I think it's a great idea, but wanted to present that to you all to get approval to move forward with that project with the Lyles family.
Move we approve.
I second.
100%.
100% second.
Is there any discussion?
That's awesome.
I think it's a
Yeah.
great,
That
a
is
great
awesome.
thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm glad we have this policy now so that we could even know that something like that is taking place. So that's
Absolutely.
fantastic.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Good deal.
Thank you.
you.
Just while you're standing up there, quick update on the Rocky Point boat ramp. I think Roy sent some photos yesterday. Look like they're
They are
moving
rocking
right
and
ahead.
rolling out at Rocky Point. A lot of that old ramp is up, so you can tell progress is being made. It was really cool. Went out yesterday morning and got some pictures and did some things out there. And there were members of the community that lived down there close that were walking right up to the close sign to kind of see what was going on. So there's a lot of excitement about the improvements that are coming to that park. And I think it's going to be a really big asset to the county moving forward. But it's going to be a great project. The road department is amazing. They're always able to tackle these projects. So it's going to be a really great thing.
Yeah, it is going to be a great improvement. It'll allow 2 boats to be launched side by side at the same time, or one if somebody can't back a trailer. So
Yes.
And if anybody
would
has
be
any, if anybody, I saw some questions on the dredging. You want to go ahead and
On the dredging.
answer? Yeah, like I've seen some people saying, well, can you dredge out further or something like, did you see some of those?
I
Okay.
did, and
Questions
the
on those
new
posts,
ramp
but-
is actually going out farther
Further.
than the old one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a lot of
So, I mean,
that
there's-
too, just so people understand, a lot of that is limited by TVA and elevation points and
Right.
things like that. So we don't get to just blanket pick how far out a ramp goes and those types of things. All
Yep.
of that is regulated through Division of Water, through the Army Corps of Engineers, through TVA. There's a lot of different processes that you have to go through that determine the different things that your ramp can include or can go out to.
Can I add that TVA, sets the length of the ramp and all that, but the bottom of the lake sets the length of the ramp. So
Yeah.
this ramp here that we're building now, we're gonna go out as far as we can, and that's it. There's gonna be some boats that can't put in there in the summer or the winter. It's out of our control. We just gotta go with what the ground, I think I spoke
Yep.
about that at the last court meeting. We can do what we can, but I seen a comment where somebody can only use it 2 months out of the year. That very well may be the same situation, because we can only go back, like I say, with what the ground allows us to.
Yeah. And the water level. I mean, we obviously have
And
zero.
right now, and how that boat ramp even works right now, I have no idea, because it's actually built in a hole. We actually walk down the ramp with waders, and when you walk down the ramp, the sides, out under the water, come up. Why it's not filled in, I don't know, but that's how we're gonna put it back. And that's the only thing we can do. So, just so everybody knows that
Yeah.
if you want a 80-foot boat ramp, don't mean you get one.
Well, we have other options for them if they need deep water.
Yeah.
We have other options for them if they want deep water and go to a different ramp.
Yeah, we got lots of different ramps all over the county, absolutely. And one other thing I do want to say, I want to make sure that we do recognize and thank again repeatedly, and I'm probably going to continue to do this, but Governor Beshear's office, Senator McConnell's office, and Congressman Comer's office have been absolute rock stars in helping us get this project done. There's so many permitting processes and applications and things that you have to go through to be able to do a project like this. It's not something that you can just decide you're going to do, find the funds for it, and get started. It's so far from that. So they have been such amazing advocates for us through this process, and we are so grateful for their help and their assistance. You guys are amazing. So
Yes, thank you. I can tell you, this would not have got done
No.
if they hadn't stepped in to help us, because the timeframes we were looking at, the water would have been coming up, and it wouldn't have happened.
Absolutely.
So, thank you all so much.
Anything else for me while I'm up here?
That's-
Yes, one thing.
Yes.
Just in terms of public service announcement, the gala is sold out, right?
Yes, so I could do a brief update on that as
Yep.
well. We are so very excited. The Miracle Gala coming up on March 11th. We had 225 tickets available. In a matter of just a couple of weeks, we completely sold out. We have a wait list now at this point, and when I checked this morning, we've already got probably 15 people wanting tickets on a wait list to get tickets for the gala, which is an amazing, amazing problem to have in the first year for doing this event. So we do have that wait list started. There is a link to a Google form on the event page where you can sign up to be on the list. All of you guys, I reminded you 700 times to get your tickets, so I hope you're on there somewhere. But we are going to meet later this week to look at the space to see if we can add a couple of additional tables to be able to accommodate those that are still wanting to come. But as of right now, yes, technically we are completely at capacity unless something can be rearranged.
And there was an individual, I'm not going to name the name, who made a comment saying that I have 2 tickets available. Please DM me if you're interested.
Yes.
Please be very, very careful about doing anything like that, doing any kind of business with somebody you don't know online. It's very possible that that person may be trying to scam you.
Yes,
So,
I did check. We did not have that person on any of our purchasing information. Outside of that, the only other way they would have had a ticket is if they were with a business who sponsored a table and they're not going to be reselling their tickets. So we did report the comment, remove the comment from the page, but yes, please do be cautious if any more of those pop up, somebody trying to resell a ticket to the charity event. Yes.
Outburst.
Oh, my Lord,
Yes.
what has
And
life
furthermore,
come
I
to?
know that it was not correct because we actually have the hard copy tickets in our office that we haven't taken out to anyone yet. So if you tried to purchase them, they wouldn't have anything to give you. So, yes. Any other questions for me?
I think Roy's selling a pair, though.
Roy made a donation so that he wouldn't have to come, right?
I think he wants to get rid of his too.
He doesn't,
Thank you guys so
that
much.
tux
Thank
from 1990 doesn't fit anymore.
I'm dressed up now.
Yeah, you are. That's right.
Okay, Mr. Pagel, you're up.
All right.
Personnel changes.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. I'll be reading out the January 2023 personnel changes. You've heard many of these before, all of these before. Kurt Kurtner, OEM Director, effective January 1 at $50,662.56 a year. Eddie McGuire, District 1 Commissioner, effective January 1, 23 at $34,142.04 a year. Marty Barrett, District 2 Commissioner, effective 1/1/23 at $34,142.04 per year. Andrew Pagel, Deputy Judge Executive, effective 1/1/23 at $65,000 a year. Kevin Byers, Deputy Coroner, effective 1/1/23 at $900 a month. Tim Davis, Deputy Coroner, effective 1/1/23 at $900 a month. Matt Hilbrick, Sheriff, effective 1/1/23 at $101,764.08 a year. Chrissy Greer, County Clerk, effective 1/1/23 at $101,764.08 a year. Kevin Spraggs, Judge Executive, effective 1/1/23 at $101,764.08 a year. Kenny Pratt, Coroner, effective 1/1/23 at $22,434.12 a year. Brad Warning, Transition Consultant, effective 1/3/23 at $36.44 per hour. Aaron Lane, Sheriff's Office, wage increase from $26.53 an hour, effective 1/1/23. Trista Lovett, Sheriff's Office, wage increase to $20.93 an hour, effective 1/1/23. Jamie Spears, 911 dispatch wage increase to $18 an hour, effective 1/24/23. Katie Springer, jail, termed 1/2/23. Lisa Jackson, court security, termed 1/24/23. Chris Waugh, jail, MRT instructor, effective 1/16/23 at $13.39 an hour. Roger Youngblood, jail, part-time to full-time, effective 1/26/23. Erica Jenkins, 911 dispatcher, passed away 1/22/23. Adriana Sainsbury, 911 dispatcher, effective 1/26/23 at $14 an hour. Olivia Castile, 911 dispatcher, effective 1/26/23 at $13.70 an hour. And finally, Melissa Curry, 911 dispatcher, effective 1/26/23 at $18 an hour.
To have a motion to approve the minutes from the January 17th and the January, do those have to be separate motions? It's January 17th and then January 26th special called?
No, you can do both of them.
Okay. To have a motion to approve the minutes for the January 17th and the January 26th, which was a special called meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is the ordinance 2023-04 budget amendment.
Ordinance 2023-04, an ordinance relating to the annual budget and amendment thereof, whereas the County of Marshall has received additional funds, now be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Marshall County that Section 1, the annual budget for the fiscal year 2022-2023 is amended to A, increase the following revenue accounts: excess fees from the clerk, $76,105.67. E911 cash balance, July 1, $75,701.72. Grant cash balance, July 1, $9,600.10. Grant transfer out, $9,600.10. Sheriff transfer in, $9,600.10. Grant interest, $3,491.57. Grant transfer out, $3,491.57. Grant general transfer in, $3,491.57. The Local Assistance and Tribal Consistency Fund, LATCF, $50,000. U.S. Marshal reimbursement, $2,815.65. ARPA fund transfer out, $2,815.65. Sheriff fund transfer in, $2,815.65. Federal grants, $3,614,013.13. Insurance proceeds, $15,208.01. For a total increase of the revenue accounts of $3,846,935.85. B, increased expenditure accounts as follows. Election equipment, $76,105.67. Reserve, $75,701.72. Sheriff deputy salary, $9,600.10. General fund reserves, $3,491.57. LATCF projects, $50,000. Deputy sheriff salary, $2,815.65. Lease payment, CFSB, $3,614,013.13. Other county building maintenance supplies, $15,208.01. For a total increased expenditure account of $3,846,935.85. Section 2, the amounts added to the revenue and expenditure accounts in Section 1 are for governmental purposes, approved by the Marshall County Fiscal Court the 7th day of February 2023.
Next is our lease agreements. I think you all, the commissioners, have seen those. Do I have a motion to approve the lease agreement for Marshall County Sanitation?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the lease agreement for the coroner's building?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The sheriff settlement for 2022 from Sheriff Weaver. Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All
And
those-
that, can I just add, that is not half the year, right? That's just one quarter,
3 months.
right? Right, okay. That's fine.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Sheriff's Department. Wait a minute. Let me back up here. Okay. Sheriff Hilbrecht, would you tell us about the grant opportunity, please?
Sure. Long and short, our body cameras all the deputies wear, most of those are malfunctioning. Several of them are not working at all. Trying to look for a solution for that, we have found that there's a grant for rural agencies. That's a police agency with less than 50 sworn officers, so we qualify for that. I've got a Maddox, school resource officer, David Maddox. He's working on that grant for me. Part of that grant process, it wants to know if the fiscal court would be in support of it. So we reached out to find out, what are some of the better cameras, what other agencies use, and we found Axon. Really is a great system. Looking at that, they are quite pricey. Would be about $146,000 to purchase 30 of those. And that also includes the data software and the license, and then also the data storage, which is a big part of the expense. At any rate, this grant is a 50% match, and what we're asking for is just the support to us to move forward with the application process on the grant itself. One of the questions on there is, would fiscal court be in support of it? And I don't want to say $146,000. It sounds like then I'd be asking a 50% match for $73,000. But due to the grant the way it is, it allows us to take an administration fee for the software, the data storage, things of that nature. And actually, we would only need about $45,000 should we be awarded the grant. But at this point, we're, no guarantee we'll even get it. We just want the opportunity to apply for it and try to move forward that way. So I guess one, I'm asking, can I check the box that says the fiscal court is in support of the grant, and we apply for the grant?
And I think the question I had for you, because when we had originally talked, you had talked about a 5-year plan also option, but gosh, I think it would end up costing us probably another $40,000 to $50,000 on top of that match to do it in a 5-year
Well, this is-
versus a 1-year and
Yes.
get that grant.
This is still a 5-year plan.
Right.
But instead of it being, there was a plan where you could choose $60,000 up front, but then they wanted $26,000 a year annually.
Right.
And doing it all up front gives us more grant money opportunity to utilize that.
And it's less money
Yeah,
in
exactly.
the long run too, so. I move we support it.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Matt. Thank you all for going after the grants, and we appreciate that.
You don't need my support to apply, but you definitely have my support for
Well,
it too.
you know what
because-
we're fighting right now. A lot of our cameras, they'll stop working. We can be on a call, and in
Yeah.
the middle of that camera shuts down. Of course, that looks terrible for court purposes.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's
Big
a
asset to us.
very, very big asset if we can get it.
It's almost impossible to go from having body worn cameras and then no longer having them.
Just maybe should ask you, not court meeting, but I feel like maybe we should stop utilizing what we currently have for the malfunctioning that we're having. It
Yeah.
looks worse to me for court purposes than.
What kind of time frame on hearing on?
With these grants, I don't know. The deadline to file is the end of this month.
Okay.
Who's it through?
It's actually called SRT is an acronym, which to me means Special Response Team,
Right.
but it's Small Rural and Tribal Police Agencies.
Oh,
So to answer your question, I'm not sure. I don't know that for sure. But I would assume probably middle of summer.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to that, Matt?
No, I
Okay.
appreciate your support.
We appreciate it. Erica, the elected officials. Salary?
DLG has provided us with the salaries for the offices of County Judge Executive, County Clerk, County Sheriff, and County Jailer as required by the KRS, and the KRS is 64.5275. So we need to accept, if you will accept those statutory salaries for those four offices as provided by DLG with a retroactive payment back to January 1st so that we can get those paid.
Make a motion to accept them retroactive to January 1, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion?
don't have a
That's-
choice.
Yeah, that's state, I was fixing to say, that's state mandate.
Per the Constitution,
Yeah.
yes.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Road Department surplus. We have metal tank car, which I asked a question about that. That's actually like a culvert, box culvert type thing. And culverts would be accepting sealed bids and surplus the F-250 on gov deals.
Motion to approve the surplus.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
So all this goes on gov deals, and that's where you, or just
The
the just
culverts
the
are
truck?
sealed bid.
Just the truck goes on gov deals?
Just the truck. We had a lot of, Nicole puts that on there, and she has a lot of trouble putting all the different size culverts on gov deals.
Yeah.
So we'd like to just do the sealed bids on the culverts.
So anybody that wants that can come by the road department and get a list and bid on that? Okay.
Any more discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Road Department pay scale revised. Mr. Pagel?
Thank you. Okay, we're looking at revising the road department's pay scale. I'll start with bottom and work upward. For laborers, and right now there's 0 positions, $17 per hour. Utility, $23.53 per hour. Mechanics, $23.53 per hour. Lead mechanic, $25.37 per hour. Sign tech, $22.70 per hour. Truck driver B, $21.08 an hour. Truck driver A, for 8 of those positions. That seems to be one of the changes, $21.36 per hour. Operator B is a change, $22.44 an hour, and operator A is $22.70 per hour.
So the change from last time.
Truck driver A, I had 9. I moved that to 8. And the operator B, I didn't have, so we moved that to 1 at 2244.
So it's no difference, we just had it, they had it in there.
I had too many truck
That-
driver A's and I didn't have a truck driver B.
Okay.
But all the men at the road department, this is their pay scale now.
Move approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Board appointments. We have an appointment to the East Marshall Fire Board to fill the vacant position that was vacated by Scott Wagner. Term to expire June 30th of '23. The individual's name is Carl Boyd. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Advertise for bids. This is giving Brittany the authority to get bids for the trails. We've had a couple of grant opportunities. One came directly to her, one came to my office that we're possibly eligible for to do some repaving on our walking trails.
Do
So-
some or all?
Sure.
So the TAP grant is the one we're looking at specific to the walking trails. The estimates that I'm wanting to get would actually be to go ahead and repave all of the trails in their entirety. So technically, we don't have to have a locked-in bid to submit for the grant, but I do need a ballpark idea of what to request. Then if we get approved, we can actually accept bids and choose one at that point. So right now, I just need to get some ballpark figures of what it would cost to repave all of those walking trails. If you haven't seen the walking trails, there's a lot of issues where tree roots have caused issues in the pavement. We've tried to patch, we've tried to fix, we've tried to Band-Aid and piece together things since I've been here for 4 years now. We had looked at some options. Last year, I believe we did about a $5,000 section just to try to repair one of the bad pieces of it, but this grant could potentially allow us to go ahead and repave the trails in their entirety. So
And
we
then
just want to-
it will, so part of the bid will be some of, I assume tree removal?
So I have 2 different people that are interested in coming out to give us a quote so far. I asked them to quote it both ways, just so we can come back and have that conversation. I want to look at our options, one of those just repaving what is currently there over the top of it, and then the second option would be to tear out what is there, fix some of those issues, and then repave completely. So I would like to quote it both ways so that we can come back and have that discussion and see which option we think would be best.
That's gonna be a heck of a bid.
It's
Isn't
going to
it?
be a doozy. But that's the great thing. This is a
Do
project
whatever
that
you can on
we-
that grant.
Yes, we would never be able to take this project
No.
on without grants. And I will say too, this is one of 4 grants that the Parks Department is working on right now. I'll be bringing more information to you guys about all of these, but 4 different grants that we're getting ready to hopefully tackle with your all's approval when we get to that point. So we are really looking at shaking some things up and trying to get a lot of grant money coming into the department.
You know how much footage we've got of trails?
I could not tell you off the top of my head. It's a lot. I know, for a point of reference, about a year after I came in, I had somebody give us a rough estimate, and to the best of my memory, it was around $250,000 to be able to repave. So you're looking at
It's
3
doubled
years since then.
It's doubled since then.
So it's going to be
Thanks, Marty.
steep.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Hadn't it, Roy? Hadn't
if
asphalt
you-
doubled since then, probably?
It's went up quite a bit.
if you hadn't had a call on it yet, it's just because they must have missed you. 'Cause
I've
I'm
got
telling you-
Yeah.
my answer machine says call Monty.
Oh, does it? Well, that park's in the 2nd district from what I can recall,
Yeah,
but,
it is,
but
for now.
I get asked about that,
Yes.
quite a bit.
Absolutely.
church,
And
grocery
we have.
store.
We've tried to piece things together as
Yeah.
best as, we could for the past few years, but we really are at a point with those trails where we've patched about as much as we can patch. It's time to, with the park, we're at 20 years old. So everything being built at the same time, things are starting to wear out at the same time. So I think it's probably about that time that we really look at this.
Is a lot of them elevated? I haven't been down them.
Yes, they go up, they go down. Some of them run by Bloody Shin Creek and some other waterways that have washed out fairly close to the trail. So it's up, down, curves, twists, trees. We kind of hit all of the terrain in the park with the trails. Mhm.
You need to get out there and walk the trails.
Knew that was
Commissioner
coming.
Barrett.
I knew that was coming.
Or you let me know when you're coming and I'll pick you up in the golf cart. That's my preferred method of taking the trails.
I
so.
would suggest tennis shoes, not
Work boots.
work boots.
My work boots got more sport than tennis shoes.
Actually, the work boots might be better on those
Really,
routes.
yeah.
May need to
Yeah.
rename it a hiking trail.
Yeah.
There
Exactly.
you go.
Well, I know my wife and I go out west, and they have a pretty cool thing. A lot of these old railroad beds they've turned into bike trails
Yes.
and walking trails, but most of them are not paved. They have a rock surface, that's.
Yeah. Hopkinsville did a really cool Rails to Trails
Yeah.
program recently where they've converted some, and it's a really neat program that they've got. Those are neat.
I think most of ours has done been give back to the landowners around here, our whole abandoned railroad.
Yeah.
But could you look into that, like the stuff that we've done on Dusty Trail, stuff like that? I mean, it's not any more affordable, right? But it is sustainable.
The rubber in it?
Yeah.
It's not any cheaper.
But it's supposed to be more sustainable.
Supposed to be.
Depending on your grade, though, you have a bad washing, or two with lots of up and down trails. I know them out west, they're a railroad bed, so they're pretty well flat.
Monty's talking about the rubberized
I'm talking about
asphalt.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I'm talking about that road.
There is a fairly new, it's almost like a coating. I think you and I have talked about this before with the Miracle League parking lot, but there is like a rubberized coating that can be done over the top of the asphalt. So it's kind of a mixed in between type thing. That could be something that we look at in the future too. Once we repave, that might be an option.
Do I have a motion to approve, giving Brittany the authority to get some bids?
so moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Need a motion to advertise for bids for a mowing contract.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We need to reschedule the first meeting in July. It happens to fall on the 4th. Discussion on that? Marty, I think you
Yeah, I just
had a
do it on the
recommendation.
6th, I think what we talked about, maybe Thursday the 6th, that same week. I'm gonna be gone the following week.
Does that work for everybody? A motion to move that to the 6th
So moved.
at 9:30. Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
While we're talking about July, very possible that I could be gone on the 18th. So would it be possible to meet on the 17th, that Monday?
Far as I know.
The second meeting?
That's the third week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the second week's when I'm gonna be gone. I'll be out on hiking trails.
17th, Jason?
Yeah.
Have a motion?
Motion to move it to the 17th, 9:30.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. E911 personnel, Mr. Pagel's going to read this. I'd like to say before he starts, we are, for the first time in a very long time, fully staffed there. I'm excited about that and excited for the future.
I think Sheila deserves a lot of credit for what she's putting together there, or doing too. We're going to move Katie Malone from part-time to full-time at the same pay rate. That's the only change. Do I need to say the pay rate if it's changed? $14.11.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to approve the transfers.
So move.
Second.
Read them first.
You want to hear, you wanna hear
Oh,
about
read
it?
'em.
I know you guys have seen them, but I'll read them out really quick. So we have a transfer to cover the bond in the judge's office. We have a transfer from where our ARPA money waits for the specific projects into the Hunter Walnut Church Road Water Line Extension in Hardin. We have a transfer from our occupational tax, our occupational tax reserves into judicial maintenance, building and grounds for HMC bills. We have a movement into travel expenses for the commissioners. We have a movement from fuel into advertising. Our transient tax ordinance that had to be advertised was has drained that account, our advertising account. And then we have a department head request for the park to move money into their travel. There's also a transient tax transfer of $10,638.69.
Would like to mention also, and I'm going off of memory, so correct me if I'm wrong. We had, I think our line of credit was up a little over 9 million on the cleanup at its highest point. And with the reimbursements we've received recently, we're down a little below $1 million on that, which makes me very happy. I know Commissioner Collins and myself, we had to vote on taking that line of credit, and we did 15 million, and it was one of those things we didn't have a choice in doing, but it made me extremely nervous that we're getting reimbursed for it, and that has they followed through with that, and it gives me a sense of relief. So
We will be down under $1 million. After this ordinance has its second reading, we're amending in the money that we received, so I can make that payment after the second reading.
okay, let me back up here. Motion to approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, for the bank transfers, I need a transfer from the grant fund to the general fund of $285,241. That's the KEDFA KDPI grant that we received half of the Pad Ready site. It was deposited into the grant fund. We have it budgeted in the general fund, so I'm moving it where it belongs. I have transfers out of the occupational tax fund. One is into the general fund for the appropriation transfer that you just approved. The other two are our budgeted subsidies. One is to the sheriff's fund, $250,000, and one is to the road fund of $50,000.
Have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Need to go into executive session. Oh, how did I miss pay the bills? Could I get a motion? Could I get a motion to pay the bills?
Motion to pay the bills.
There's
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We need to go into executive session to discuss litigation per KRS 61-810-1C.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All Marshall County Fiscal Court back to order. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.